Mason, I want to cut to sort of, we're going to transition now from the Jersey jokes to like the really serious business of kind of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And of course, one of the big, this past week, what some in the Israeli community, in the Jewish community in Israel called Jerusalem Day, the day that the Israeli army retook the old city of Jerusalem, was celebrated. That resulted in some Palestinian protests that were met with violent Israeli repression, including the arrests of dozens of Palestinians in East Jerusalem, including many teenagers, as I understand it. And of course, that later in the week was followed by the news that Stephen Hawking, the world-renowned British physicist, who's also extremely disabled, would be canceling his decision to attend the Israeli President's Conference, I believe, which is some kind of a conference celebrating Israel's scientists and businessmen. Now, initially, the reporter who reported this, Matthew Kalman, out of The Guardian, said that he reported this as the cancellation, and which in fact it was. He later tried to follow up with the University of Cambridge president, and the University of Cambridge president effectively said, no, that's not true, he withdrew due to illness. Well, that was apparently an attempt to avoid some of the potential, the perceived fallout that might come from the cancellation. And in fact, the truth was that he did cancel it as a political decision when many of his fellow academics, Palestinian academics, said to him, it would mean a lot to us, this would be a tremendous symbol, a tremendous step against the Israeli occupation of the West Bank, of the Palestinian territories, if you at this moment said you were not going to give Israel this respect and this credence. Is this a victory for the Palestinian cause, Maysoon?
I mean, there's a lot going on in what you just said, a lot of stuff. So I feel like you're reading my mind. Actually, my upcoming article is about Jerusalem Day and the whole Stephen Hawking thing and how it kind of all is on the same page. Because, first of all, I want to start with Jerusalem Day. When you talk about Jerusalem Day and the arrests and stuff, when I watch Jerusalem Day from afar, I call Jerusalem Day the KKK. Because basically whatever it was meant to symbolize in the beginning, it doesn't symbolize that anymore. And what Jerusalem Day is a bunch of, like, hooligans, like angry, screaming hooligans running through the old city, terrorizing Palestinians to prove that Jerusalem's unified.
Yeah, I can confirm that. I mean, I could, just full disclosure, obviously you are an American of Palestinian descent, and I'm Jewish, and I spent a lot of time in Israel, over the course of my life because I have family there. But when I was 18, I was participating in this one of a veteran paratrooper who had helped conquer the old city from the Jordanians in 1967 was sort of taking us on the route from Ammunition Hill through the entrances to the old city. And prior to us arriving at the old city, a band of Jewish hooligans had come through to do these things that they often do, which is sort of march through screaming, banging on shop doors, what have you, harassing people, to say this is our city, you don't belong here, that kind of thing. And by the time we got there, there was essentially an angry I guess mob that had gathered in response to this, and we left. I mean, and I should make clear that the tour that I was on, regardless of any of the political affiliations that it had, was completely peaceful. But I was aware of that, and so I'm very much aware that it has become that kind of a day.